All right.
I'd like to call the March 22nd Trenton School Board meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Any visitors?
I did have one request to speak, but I think I can cover that in 7.11.
Anything else? Motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Motion from Jim, second from Dale. Any questions, comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, whoops, I guess we're gonna have to do resolutions for everything. don't we?
Roll call vote, yep.
Yeah. Rebecca.
Yeah.
Brian,
Yes.
Dewey,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
myself, yes. Motion carries. Cobra Pride.
Yeah, I got a few items. We have another profile of a graduate. And you can see the names there: Rebecca Marcourt, kindergarten, Porter Marcourt, first grade. And I'm gonna screw that last first name up. Can you help me with that?
Suhaili.
Matei,
I can't see the last.
second grade, Mason Henslin, third grade, Angie Felix, fourth grade, Rebecca Henslin, fifth grade, Colby Vermilia, sixth grade, Elijah O'Keefe, seventh grade, Claire Stevenson, eighth grade, Chris Zaragoza, ninth grade, Madison Bishop in 10th grade, Poe Broskoff in 11th grade, and then Cassie McMurdo in 12th grade. And those students were recognized at our last profile of a graduate recognition. The next one I wanted to recognize was Tristan Nelson, first place in ag mechanics. So that is a first for us, is it not, Mr. Ickler?
Isaac Grant was first a few years ago. But this would be the first in a couple of years, and tonight I went to Burger King with my boys and I picked up the Burger King crown and I'm gonna.
And their team took fourth
Four.
overall.
Yeah.
A team of four, and Grady was what, seventh?
Seven.
Yeah, so congratulations to him. I did want to recognize a couple teachers, Adam Anderson, who's been doing our gifted and talented. I've had that in the update, the academic triathlon that they just recently participated in. Adam's been doing a great job with that. Mart Lang with Math Masters. Again, that's another thing that our students have been doing well in, and just wanted to recognize her for her work. And then lastly, I wanted to recognize Mr. Leader, Alex Leader, fourth grade teacher. He is doing the science fair, and they're doing the science fair a little different this year. It's actually an after-school program, so kids that want to participate are coming in after school and working on their science fair projects with Mr. Leader. And as you know, they had the what do you call it, commodities program at the elementary.
Market day.
Market day. And that's really kind of taken the place of the whole grade doing the science fair. So it's really become an elective program, but it is something that we will be hosting. So thankful for Mr. Leader leading the group of kids that are doing that, and kudos to them.
Thank you. Approved consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion from Rebecca, second from Jim. Again, resolution. Rebecca.
Yeah.
Jim, Brian,
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
myself, yes. Resolution passes. New business. 7.1, discuss and approve resolution relating to termination and non-renewal of teaching contract of Anthony Bendixson as probationary teacher.
And these are all resolutions. Which I guess doesn't matter because we're doing roll call, but I know there's a lot of names on here and that might be like alarming, but. Remember, if they are teaching out of their permission area, we have to non-renew them. Because legally, we have to post the position and we have to show that we posted the position in order to be able to get them another permission out of field the following year. And that's kind of been it's a hoop we need to jump through, but many of these folks we're gonna have back. It's just that we have to show that we've looked for somebody outside of the that we've actually posted the position. So we'll post a lot of these positions tomorrow.
I'll make a motion to approve 7.1.
Second.
Motion from Rebecca, second from Dale for 7-1. Any questions, comments? Again, I guess maybe I shouldn't call it a resolution, but a roll call. Yeah, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Well, this is yours.
It's
Sorry,
actually a
Mhm.
resolution.
this is a resolution. Yeah. Rebecca, yep. Brian,
Yeah.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
myself, yes. I don't know, can anybody else hear Brian or?
I can hear
Yeah.
him. You hear him?
Yeah.
I can hear him too.
Oh, okay. 7.2. Discuss and approve resolution relating to the termination non-renewal of teaching contract of John Hager as probationary teacher.
So moved.
Motion from Dwayne, second from Jim. Rebecca.
Yeah.
Brian,
Yes.
Dwayne.
Yes.
Dale.
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
And myself, yes. Resolution passes. 7.3, discuss and approve resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of teaching contract of Joe Luderman, a probationary teacher.
So moved. Second.
Motion from Jim, second from Dale. Well, I guess I was, any questions, comments? Again, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Brian,
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
myself, yes. Resolution passes. 7.4. Discuss and approve resolution related to termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of Lisa Checkis, a probationary teacher.
Second.
Motion from Jim, second from Dwayne. Any questions, comments? Rebecca.
Yeah.
Brian,
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
and myself, yes. Resolution passes. Let's see. Discuss and approve 7.5, discuss and approve resolution related to termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of Luann Man, a probationary teacher.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Dale, second from Rebecca. Any questions, comments? Rebecca.
Yeah.
Brian,
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
and yes for myself. 7.6, discuss and approve resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of Stacy Owen, a probationary teacher.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Rebecca, second from Dwayne. Any questions, comments? Rebecca.
Yeah.
Brian,
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
and myself, yes. 7.7, discuss and approve resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of Adam Anderson, a probationary teacher.
So moved.
Motion from Dwayne, second from Jim. Any questions, comments? Rebecca,
Yeah.
Brian,
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
myself, yes. 7.8, discuss and approve resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract with Melanie Dobson, a probationary teacher.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Rebecca, second from Dale. Any questions?
Why are these in red?
They were added.
Okay.
Rebecca.
Yeah.
Brian,
Yeah.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
myself, yes. 7.9, discuss and approve resolution relating to the termination and non-renewal of the teaching contract of Ellie Stewart, a probationary teacher.
Second.
Motion from Jim, second from Rebecca. Any questions, comments? Rebecca.
Yeah.
Brian,
Yes.
Dwayne.
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
myself, yes. 7.10, discuss and approve resolution relating to termination, non-renewal of teaching contract of Cynthia Hugo,
Yep.
a probationary teacher.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Dwayne.
Yep.
And second from Rebecca. Any questions, comments? Rebecca,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
and myself, yes, also. No, 7.11, staff request for sabbatical leave.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. I met with the union today. I think we have a plan to get this resolved and without having to do a sabbatical leave. Which I'm in favor of. I apologize. Sometimes I rush to get things on the agenda because I want to get them on the agenda. And I feel like this is one of those times where it's like, that's my fault. And I think we'll be able to get this fixed without having that on there. I did ask the union to do a memorandum of understanding. Because I do think that this is something that we can address with negotiations in the future. Just so we're all on the same page and get clarification that way. Board's involved, unions involved, I'm involved, and get everybody on the same page. So we're going to have these kind of things happen again in the future, and I just want to be prepared for them. And I think that we made good strides on getting that done today. So my apologies for rushing to give in, but I didn't want to just pull it off the agenda because then it looks like I'm playing games too. So I just left it on there and wanted to address that with all of you.
Thank you. Any other more on that? 7.12, discuss and approve purchase of used 24 passenger bus.
Again, this was something that I wanted to get on the agenda. Even though this has already happened, I still want to get your approval, but I did have this in my update. When we had bus 18 that the engine went out on it, I asked Dave to start looking and he found something right away. And we found a used bus out of Illinois. And as you know, you got to make sure that when you get a bus from another state that it's DOT-able in Minnesota. So all of that checked out. And when he met with the gentleman up in the cities, the comment that guy made was, if you really are going to need one of these, I suggest you buy it because they aren't going to have these buses in production for at least 6 months. So this is a shorter bus. It's not something that they're currently manufacturing with all of the different supply issues that it's going to be pushed out. And I just thought with our preschool program, it is a need. So went ahead and moved on it. It is under a $50,000 mark, which technically we can do, but I still think it's best to have it on the board agenda so we're all on the same page.
This was a gas or diesel?
Okay. Good question. I don't know the answer to that, to be honest. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
But it did have low miles and Dave was very enthusiastic because he said, you need to come look at this bus because it is in really good shape and it'll be good.
Who gets to drive it back?
Dennis,
I'll move to it.
Second.
Motion from Jim? Dale, second from Dale, sorry. Any questions, comments?
So the lettering on it, we just, that's.
that has to be done and all that yet. Yep.
Well, this, I suppose it's one of those things, if you don't get it while you get the chance, you won't get a chance.
Right.
Anyway, okay, yeah, roll call. Rebecca.
Yeah.
Brian,
Yes.
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
and myself, yes.
Just one thing I did ask Dave to come to the April 5th study session just to kind of talk overall about buses, including this bus. So you guys can all be updated on all of that with the other things that are going on with transportation, building and grounds as a director's report.
Okay,
Mr. Schlichting. With the new buses to us.
Yes.
Yes.
7:13, discuss and approve 2022-2023 revised budget.
Alright. A really quick update on some of the,
Can I say one thing?
yeah,
That kind of helped with the decision to make that bus purchase?
yeah, oh, yeah. Wait, did you tell Dave yet? No?
No, I have not told Dave yet. When we fill out our, I can't remember the W-9,
Yeah, it was for some health benefits, not health benefits. some
HRA
other
benefits. Well,
yeah.
anyway, we had two former employees that are no longer here that didn't qualify for that benefit. So that money has been sitting in an account, but it doesn't really have a person that it belongs to. So when we filled out our IRS report, we were notified that we were invalid because this money was there and it's not supposed to be there. So I called the attorney. I said, what do we need to do in order to get that money out of there? And they basically said, just call them and ask them if they would be willing to transfer it and what they needed in order to do that. We called them and we ended up with $10,000 that we were able to put into our general account that actually will help pay for the bus. I didn't tell Dave that though. But it did help with that decision making where it's like, well, that helps. It was $10,000 we weren't expecting to have.
Rather than the
And a
number,
bus
we're gonna
ticket.
give a name.
Huh?
So rather than a number, we're gonna give the bus a name.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that was nice when it was kind of a non-planned purchase to have a little extra help cover it, so. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just gonna go over some of the revisions that I made in this year's budget, and ask for approval for those. So let's start out with, kind of the main driving factor of our budget is the enrollment numbers. So when we did the adopted budget last summer, we budgeted for 1,023. Because we were a little at higher expectations and didn't turn out well. So we did drop that down to 999. Just kind of based on where we're at and trying to be a little more conservative too, just so we're still. Hopefully we'll end up the year a little better than that. As far as funding, so what that does, funding, so as far as state aid revenue, obviously. Lower student numbers means, lower state aid. We are seeing a drop in state aid of 82,000. So from that enrollment adjustment, that actually amounted to 288,000, but on the plus side, we actually are seeing an increase in, we're seeing an increase in special ed aid of $206,000. So you see what that means. We've got more special education needs, but we are receiving more funding for it. So on the federal side, we're still receiving some COVID dollars. So we've got about 17,000 for summer programming that we'll have to use by the end of June. Of the ESSER dollars, we've got 360,000 left. most of that'll be used this year, so we'll looking at having about 130,000 up for next year. We applied for a second COVID testing grant this year. We've got 23,000 of that. I think we spent about 17,000 so far. And then we just got our usual cost of Title I and Title II funds that are, have been remaining fairly consistent. They've been dropping a little bit, but still doing okay. And then on other revenue, on the plus side, about a year and a half ago, the feds also added the emergency connectivity funds to kind of a similar COVID program. We did apply for those for Chromebooks, iPads, and some other student devices. And that finally came through, so that money came in this year at 195. To support those devices. So that was nice.
That's really kind of a reimbursement for some of the stuff
It
we've
is,
already spent.
we've already bought it, so yeah. But it was a fairly unclear program. We weren't sure when it was gonna come in, so now we've got it. Right. On the expenditure side, we did have to buff our salary and benefits by about 8,000 last year because of some staffing fluctuations and changes in throughout the year. Supplies up 86,000 and equipment up 27,000. And again, those are both attributed to the tech devices, some different tech upgrades we need to make. And then the bus that we bought. So all those kind of unexpected things. So looking at general fund overview. Overall, if you look at the very first row, we're looking at a net decrease of about 52,000. So not terrible, you know. Obviously, being in the black would be better, but this is bad. Our unassigned fund is not changing much. We're being going from 7.63% from the 6.9. Now, we talked a little bit about, you know, ideally we would like to be, ideally be 12 to 15%, and that's something that we're looking at as far as making some adjustments, kind of get us back up here a little bit. So looking at the reserve funds and developments, got a nice healthy fund balance. Long-term facilities also 183,000 balance, down a little bit, but still healthy. Operating capital, kind of maximizing those funds as much as we can. That same goes for lending and development and basic bills. We use those out first before we go up the unassigned balance. Gifted and talented is kind of growing, as well as safe schools. Gifted and talented ending up at 51,000, safe schools is ending up at 81. So we're kind of looking at ways that we can better utilize those funds too, rather than working with our unassigned balance to keep that coming up. And then medical assistance is also going to that one fund that's very restricted. So, but we're also looking at ways to better utilize that as well for some of our higher needs specialists. So the last page here is just a summary of all of the other funds. So we've got food service again. We've got still a nice fund balance, mostly due to the free lunches that were received. You know, the governor passed the bill to continue that. We haven't seen yet what the reimbursement rate is going to be, so I don't know if it's going to be as good as it was during COVID. I'm guessing probably not. But we'll see what happens.
So will that help also cover any like equipment and stuff that we need?
Yeah, and that's yes, and that's what we're looking at right now.
Our dishwasher needs to be
Yes.
replaced.
Mhm.
It's
So
right again.
it's not supposed to start till next year, right? Is that one?
That one.
The,
we
yeah,
have-
the free lunch program is
Right.
next year. Yes, correct.
Yeah, but we've got such a good balance now that we can use the funds for that now to do it now. If it works out.
I asked Dave, that's another thing that Dave will talk about at the study session is the dishwasher.
Yeah, it's restricted. We can only use it for things in the kitchen.
Yeah.
If it's cafeteria, we can't use it for tables. It has to be specifically
In the
in
kitchen?
the kitchen, but still, there is definitely some needs there. We can look at. So. So community ed, general community ed down a little bit. Or sorry, it's actually going up. We started the year and then there's 62, ending the year at 40, -41. That's fairly common, and we're gaining momentum back up from COVID. We're being able to do more programming. Early childhood and school readiness. Going along as expected. You know, school readiness has a negative, but it really ebbs and flows, so it's not an issue. I'm not concerned about it. And then adult basic ed has a nice fund balance as well. Debt service is just kind of an in and out, but just to pay off, we get enough revenue to pay off our principal and interest payments every year for on debt service. And then the same thing, scholarship fund. Scholarships going out based on what comes in. It's a kind of quick, kind of brief, but no major changes. Just accounting for some of the unexpected things we had to do this year. So, any questions?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion from Joanne, second from Jim. Any questions, comments? Rebecca,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
myself, yes, also. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Discuss and approve students to attend an overnight trip for the FCCLA State Conference, March 26th to 28th.
Hello, I am Mrs. McMahon, the FCCLA advisor. This year we had a record number of kids make it to state and asking for approval for them to spend the night. We'll be leaving on Sunday morning. They'll participate all day in workshops and in presentations, stay overnight, second day of competition and workshops, and we'll come home at the end of the day after dinner and awards. It's at the Hyatt Regency, same location that DPA was at in Minneapolis.
What kind of competitions do they have? Like what things are they involved in?
We have a big range this year, everywhere from, we have a student that started a community garden. Went through the city and got that approved to some middle school, boys that went together and got a fishing team that they're gonna be starting. They're going to cast and free and coming back to teach and train, to different, highlighting different, they have community service projects every month. So they worked with the Lions Club, with our hygiene drive, they're having a carnival come up. So a lot of it's just different leadership. And then also healthy habits. We have a couple middle schoolers doing on the dangers of social media. So they do like professional type presentations on that and base it off their knowledge and all the research they've done.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion from Dale, second from Rebecca for 7:14. Any questions, comments? Rebecca,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Dwayne?
Yep.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
myself, yes, also. Resolution passes. So,
Thanks, Luann.
Thank
Motion.
you. Hopefully-
Thank you.
Thank you, good luck. Good luck. 7:14, discuss and approve students to attend an overnight trip for the FFA State Convention, April 23rd to the 25th, 2023.
Okay, so you guys have the data ready, but I'm Cadence. I'm our chapter's president here at Triton, so I compete on the dairy evaluation team and we placed 7th in the region, not one of our highest placing, but we should say. I also discuss or participate in discussion meet too. I won first in the region in that and still a strikeout third in the region. So I'll be going in for state for that. And then also we have region proficiencies. I was first in the region gold. John Menning was first in the region gold, and also Stella Strike had a proficiency too. Our state level proficiencies are John, Hope Roscoff, and Stella Strike.
Hi, I'm Keegan Pupil and I'm the other co-advisor for FFA. We also had our meets evaluation team placed 3rd, with John Menning placing 7th individually in the region and Devin Menace placing 4th. So they'll be recognized at our region banquet and they'll participate at state. As well as our best informed green hand team, which is a group of freshmen that just go and test their knowledge about FFA and agriculture. They earned their trip to state, and then yesterday, our nursery landscape team competed and Jenna Kenworthy placed 3rd individually and they placed 5th as a team, so they will be going to state. And then August Johnson competed in extemporaneous speaking, where he gives a speech to a group and he placed 2nd in the region. So for us,
So that nursery landscape team, that's the first time that I believe Triton has had one. We haven't had, that's only like the second team during my time here that we've had, so that's exciting. Another first, our poultry team made it to state, so that's something to crow about. And I couldn't pass laying a bad pun here. Anyhow, Cole Brostoff was third in the region. Anna Ridenauer got her American degree back in October at National Convention. She was also a gold rated proficiency at the national level. So that was an exciting accomplishment for her. You heard about the mechanics team earlier. Neat fact for Grady, it's the third time he's going to qualify for state in that. So that's a unique accomplishment. Our crops team had one of their highest placings in a long time. They were third. Caleb Chilson was sixth individual. We have some voting delegates that will be going to serve on different committees, Austin Adron and Stella Stripe. We also had our first agri-science fair contestant in Paul Brostoff that was looking at the different water temperatures to put yeast in to see how it impacts the bread. And some of the bread was flatter than a flat tire on a bad road trip, and some was as high as you could ever ask for bread to be. So it was a really neat accomplishment with the learnings there, and that was rated a top 3. We'll find out at state convention if he won the title with that. And some of our science teachers, Mr. Felton and Swanson, helped with the experimental design and proofreading the paper. And so those things were definitely beneficial to Poe's accomplishments there. And I think I got everything on our list. We have a student teacher this spring semester. He is a South Dakota State student. His name is Wyatt Garden, and he's an Owatonna native. His days with us will be done April 14th. He plans on coming back to convention, so he gets that experience and help us with things. We got Jackie Robinson also going as a chaperone. So we'll have 4 adults total there to work with the 26 kids.
I'll move to approve overnight trip for that. Second.
Motion from Jim, second from Dwayne. Any questions, comments?
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Rebecca?
Yeah.
Brian?
Yes.
Dwayne?
Yes.
Dale?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Or motion passes. Good luck.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. 7:16, discuss and approve students to attend an overnight trip to attend BPA National Convention in Anaheim, California, April 26th to the 30th, 2023.
So I was talking to Robert when we came in, we're just really excited that all 3 of our CTSOs, career and technical student organizations, can have such a strong showing, because we really feel like that is so important, because it's pushing them past high school, beyond high school, the whole profile of a graduate. And so we're just very excited that we have state and nationals, and hopefully you get to hear from those 2 again in a couple of months. But for BPA, we had a record-breaking year. We seem to keep having those year after year after, which is awesome. Our kids are amazing. We have 15 qualified for national trips. 11 of our students are taking them just due to various reasons. And so we'll be in Anaheim, California, April 26th to the 30th. Myself and Stuart Wheeler is also attending as a chaperone with our 11 students.
Yeah, so
Yeah, we're really excited. And it's a good location. We're a couple blocks from Disneyland. So yeah. Did you get
I
is
went
this one?
twice.
Yeah,
I'll
with
take
Jacob.
it off, yeah, I would
Yeah.
recommend it.
So
It was a lot of fun, those days.
that's amazing.
And I'll make a motion to approve the overnight trip for BP National Convention.
Second.
Motion from Rebecca, second from Jim. Any questions, comments?
Again, congratulations.
Rebecca,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
myself, yes, also. Motion passes. Good luck. Yeah, thank you. 7:17, discuss policy updates.
I'd like to table this. I got an email from Andrea, the nurse today, that there are a number of things at the legislature that are most likely going to change. So with looking at the Narcan in the schools, she said, I think you should probably just wait so we get it right the first time. They don't have to change it. So the policy, that model policy that I had you looking at was in regard to the Narcan and the schools policy. We can just wait until we get the final revision, and then we can explore it from there. So nothing we really need to do with that at this point.
7:18, student council report.
All right, so student council has been very busy over the past few months. We wrapped up our snow week and all the activities that came with that and jumped right into planning for our pancake breakfast, which will be hosted at City Hall this Sunday from 8 to 11, and all funds will be donated to Relay for Life, and we would love to see you all there. So, yeah, any questions? There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Drew.
Zed report. We've maybe had a couple meetings since the last, but we had our audit, which was, well, actually, last month we did a revised already, but we're at just a hair under 1.3 fund balance. It's 14%. They like 15%. But they're okay. The reason they like a higher fund percentage is they can't borrow money. They're not like, yeah, so they. But with some of those stuff with Pine Island and that, yeah, they're doing okay. We did have the principal of the AOC did a presentation. And poor Deanna did get mentioned, at some point they would like their own diploma or graduate standards. But that's to be decided at a later date, discussed, yeah. And then the soups are gonna meet, they've been having a little trouble getting together, I guess. And last week it was the tournaments, some of them were gone. Anyway, their next meeting is gonna focus on the joint powers agreement. And Patrick said they won't leave till it's done. He's not sure what that means, but that's what he said.
You know, the biggest thing that we've tried to, and we all use Baker Tilly and Zed, so we asked that some sort of arrangement be made because, and actually I sat with Baker Tilly at the conference 2 weeks ago with a couple of their Zed schools, and we tried to explain to them, you know, because they're like, well, when does your levy pay out? When's the building paid for? And we're like, well, it'll be in 20 years, so in another 19 years. And they're like, well, when it's paid for, it's just done. And it's like, yeah, so we're going to have a lot of people that want to join Zed in 20 years. And when the building's just paid for, and we don't feel that that's equitable for the 6 schools that have paid for the building. He didn't seem to think that we were being reasonable, but all of the 6 schools are really in the same frame of mind that this is an investment that we've paid for. If somebody else wants to become a part of it, that should be part of their investment as well. So we want it to be equitable when other schools want to join, and vice versa. If somebody wants to leave, you don't just get to leave the commitment that you made. So it doesn't increase the expense for the other schools. So I know there's already schools that are interested.
Do we still have that rule that you have to be touching one of the current districts? to join?
And that's what the joint powers agreement kind of lays all of that out. So really, we're still kind of living off of the old joint powers agreement. But we would like to move toward a new one. But right now, as superintendents, we've not liked the language because we don't feel that it is in our best interest as individual school districts. So just kind of trying to hash through that language. And what we asked from Patrick was for Baker Tilly to come up with some sort of formula that would lay the expenses out if somebody wanted to join. So it would be a beneficial thing for the other 6 districts in reducing our expenses as well. Because we don't feel that it's appropriate for someone just to jump in and say, hey, we want to be a part of it now that you got this new building. That makes sense.
So the diploma thing too, that's kind of an issue for us, a hot button, isn't it?
It is. And the reason is because Zed cannot grant their own diploma. Any student that graduates from Zed gets a Triton diploma. And we don't feel that, and I believe the schools are all in agreement on this. We don't feel it's appropriate to have different standards
Right.
for the diploma. The diploma is the diploma. You need to earn the credits that each school district has in order to earn the diploma. So they want to reduce it, and our concern is if you go and reduce the number of credits that are required, it would be very easy for a student that's behind to say, well, that's okay, I'm just going to go to the ALC. They don't require as many credits. And that wouldn't, you would see a huge bump in enrollment at the ALC, but that really isn't the intent or the purpose of the ALC as far as the 6 school districts are concerned. The 6 school districts believe that our diplomas mean something, and we would like to maintain the integrity of that and not change it.
Well, I think they're somewhat aware of that. The problem is trying to satisfy everybody's different, a little different standard. And for them, trying to get the right staff, the right people filling all that.
It is
Little
difficult
difficult.
for them as well.
So,
So there is
I think they realize it's an issue. Yeah, like she said, it's to come.
yeah.
She,
But it is something we can work with them on and get it figured out, because we need to make sure that we're all in agreement. And right now, we're not. And I did tell Lloyd I would put they sent the budget update, and I could put that in the update on Monday.
yeah, Heidi did a presentation of the financial stuff of Zed, how Zed works. And she sent out the PowerPoint, I tried to forward it. And so, yeah. Talking about the new building, Mrs. Horsish took a tour of some Triton students over there. They're potential teaching candidates, I believe. And so they got the chance to tour the Zed facility. And the hope is maybe
It's a
they
great,
could get employed
great
somewhere.
building.
Cause yeah, Zed's looking, yeah, there. And let's see, there's some stuff coming up. Science fair was mentioned. It's gonna be here the 14th of April. Activity day is at Casson, the 5th of May. And Zed graduation is gonna be the 31st of May. At Zed. It'd be the, yeah. No, if I'm right, it usually conflicts with the red, senior projects.
Yeah, senior boards.
They're are they a week earlier this year? I thought I saw like
Wednesday, the
20 something. Usually those always conflicted the same day in the past. But now they're, if I noticed right there, yeah. So if you wanted to go to, you had to go to one or the other. I mean, yeah.
This year you can do both.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's. Any questions? AD report.
Evening, everybody. To start off tonight, I just kind of want to thank all of our winter coaches and advisors and everyone. It was a great season. I think that it was awesome to see growth from multiple different programs. And with that, you know, it's just I'm proud of them for different reasons. And I think that's what's really important. You know, I think it's the little things that we start to see. I mean, if anybody's been to a wrestling meet at home before, you can know that the wrestlers make sure it's clean before the meet happens. It's clean after the match happens. And it's things like that we start seeing, you know, through everything. From that, you know, we talk about the girls basketball program and just some of the community stuff that they've done. With the Shoot for a Cure nights, our boys basketball team, with the bitty basketball stuff, and just with our dance program, they've kind of started to work with local Just for Kicks group to try to hopefully increase the amount of interest with our students in dance. And so it's about building those things and giving people those experiences that they can really look back on and think that it's worth their time and worth their efforts with that as well. In multiple different ways, you know, we've kind of been able to find a way to get some of the opinions of the students just to be shared about their experiences that they've had. And we've had some very good feedback on just that they've enjoyed their experiences within the winter programs, especially, and that it's something that they want to do to continue to do in the future. You know, when we look at the winter season, especially, it's a grind. I mean, you're talking about 4 months realistically at times. And so that can get long, and that can be something that can be tiresome for some students, and just for them to be able to enjoy it from the start to the end is something really, really important. Perfect. I know that Ms. Goosen's kind of touched on this previously, but I just wanted to kind of accommodate or commend our BPA group. And you know, when I think of it, it's one word, and it's just domination. And you know, Becca's pretty humble, right? She doesn't really want to say how good everybody is and how good that program has performed. But when you look at it, we had 31 students attend the conference, and 15 of them earned a trip to the national conference. That's pretty dang impressive, if you ask me. When 27 of our 31 students are placing in the top 10 of their competition, like, how can you do better? Like, that's kind of what I want to know. Well, she'll tell you too, I'm sure, right? But
Next year.
I want 31, right? But it's just the experience, once again, that they have, and that it's an awesome experience for them to be able to go up to that event and be able to enjoy. And I think that's what you always hear on that Monday, or the 2 years that I've been here, that Monday coming back from the BPA conference, everybody just smiles after they come back and tell you not only how well they did, but about the experience that they had. And it's pretty cool, just with some of the pictures that you see of them in the hotel rooms or in the conference rooms, of just the different experiences and types with that as well. And I think if we hit the next slide too, we've got one just to recognize the state champions. And so the cool thing is that we had 3 teams or individuals that were able to earn a state championship. And so Talia Kelly, Caitlin Krupa, and Lydia Stanton were the state champions in the broadcast news team. Katya Wheeler was the state champion in computer modeling, and then Paige DeBetter was the state champion in fundamental desktop publishing. Another cool thing that I want to point out is in one of the pictures. If you look at the top picture, it's the picture of the broadcast news team with Talia Kelly, Caitlin Krupa, and Lydia Stanton standing in the middle with the trophy after they won, right? But if we also look to the left, you'll see 3 other Triton students who placed second in the broadcast news team. So if you talk about just an area where we've been really proficient with it, to have 2 different teams that place first and second in the same competition is a really cool thing. And I think you can just tell by all the smiles in the picture as well. So just kudos again to all of them. Obviously, when you can have that much success, it's something to be recognized for. There's also another group of students that I want to just make sure they get some recognition within the BPA group, and that's why Bendixson and Lydia Stanton, and they were state officers within the BPA group from Minnesota, and it was interesting to talk with them after they came back, because we had a little bit of a snowstorm up there. Was it Friday?
Yeah.
So Friday, right? So the last day of the conference, there was a snowstorm that was coming in, and typically there were events that would take place until noon. And being in my position, you know, you kind of have to be able to roll with the punches at times when the schedule gets changed. And so for them to have this experience of them putting in months of prep work and planning to then have it be changed by the weather and then have to be able to adjust, it was like you got the full experience of having to be in a leadership position, put on a big event for a bunch of people, and then have to be able to be making changes in the middle of it. And so these two need a lot of recognition just with the time and effort that they put in, not only to this BPA this year, but in previous years as well, to definitely be able to hold those positions.
I had the pleasure of interviewing Wyatt as part of the senior project. You know, they do the mock interviews. I've never heard a better answer to the question to give an example of something of adversity that you've had to overcome. Tricia, were you in that one?
I missed that one.
Okay, but anyway, he talked about being the state president and having to improvise and adjust, and having his other members of his team basically bail because they were so stressed, they didn't want to be a part of it. And he had to pull in the ones that were there to get it figured out. I'm like, man, that is a story that that's a real life story that you can tell in any interview, anywhere you go. And that is a testament to what you've done. And man, you should be proud of that. So that was just, amazing story that young man has to tell.
And I'm not sure I would have been able to, you know, wrangle everybody together, right? Or keep everything there. And for that to be led by students, I think is just another, you know, huge reason why we want to continue to put resources into that, because our kids are learning, right? They're having great experiences. The next slides that I have kind of been precluded by Mr. Ickler and the FFA gang, right? But just another program where there's kids do nothing but enjoy their experiences, right? And I think that it's always a positive for me when there's the different competitions with the different, at the different locations on the different dates, because before last year, I didn't know that there was such thing as a meets team, right? And all of this. And so it's just about having kids have an opportunity to be able to explore an interest that they have. And that's what I love to do, right? And so for me to be able to work with a group that's as great as Mr. Ickler and all of and Ms. Hugline with all of that, it's been really a learning opportunity for me and something that I've enjoyed. I won't read off everybody's names, but I think that they were covered earlier. But once again, you just look at the number of names that we have and the number of individuals who've earned state conference trips with that kind of stuff, and it's like, it's fun, right? It's fun to see kids enjoy what they're doing and be a full participant in something that they can learn from. Perfect. The last thing, we just had our spring sports kickoff meeting with all of our spring activities. And the biggest thing that we're running into right now, or that I've heard from our coaches, is that they're very thankful for the facilities. And when I look outside and we see that we have the turf and we're able to go play catch outside in March, that's something that a lot of other schools can't do, right? When we have our building and grounds crew who's shoveling a path so that we can get to the turf, it's something that we're very thankful for. And just the extra work that they've done to clear off the track for Kim to be able to kind of start to be able to get out there a little bit is just, it's very something that we're very thankful for. And so we just kind of want to be able to make sure that everyone here knows that, and that we're excited to see where the spring takes us. So, perfect.
Questions?
Any questions?
Thanks, Corey.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Principals report.
Good evening, everyone. Seems like it's been a few weeks since we've had the last board meeting, the month of March and then the ending of February has been busy times in the elementary school. I wanted to recognize Adam Anderson and that academic triathlon team again on the left for that picture. Not only did the middle school team win first place at the most recent academic triathlon competition, but our elementary team won the competition before that. On the right side of the television, we had the Minnesota Department of Transportation in for year number 2 of a Build a Bridge project. That was done with our second graders, our 4 sections of second graders. Had opportunity working with 3 employees from MDOT, and they built a bridge and they were able to crawl across it. It's a fun activity that the kids look forward to and the teachers want to continue to do. So it's a great activity that also hits a couple of our standards that with some real good hands-on experience. Another thing that's going on over on the left, Mr. Luderman was able to help me out one morning when we had the whole 5th grade in the PAC for a time, making up from some missed prep time for the teachers, and we had a gritty competition. I don't know how many in the room know what the gritty is, but Mr. Luderman, will you please display the gritty for those in attendance? It's the celebration dance that Justin Jefferson does for the Minnesota Vikings. And we did have 2 winners, and the reason why I asked Mr. Luderman to demonstrate is because, yes, that is a Luderman daughter that won it. On that picture there. And then the other one was a paper, rock, scissors competition. So we were just having some fun with some 5th graders in the PAC, and I wanted to highlight that. On the right, the month of February is I Love to Read Month. That concludes with Read Across America Day. We had our high schoolers, our middle schoolers, fill up the elementary school with opportunities to read with our students. I think I mentioned it just about every month, but one of the greatest parts of being here under one roof is that we have so many of our older students working with our younger students. Jude Gussie, even the student council rep for tonight, he meets with a young man almost daily for about what, 10-15 minutes?
Yep.
And it is the highlight of that 3rd graders, or that 4th graders day. The first thing that student asked me is, my big buddy coming today? And I said, we'll see how it goes. And I think it's a pretty rewarding experience for you as well. And so those things continue to happen, and it's pretty cool that we can do it here at Triton Public Schools. On the left, we had Roles in Reading, one of our days of I Love to Read month. That was towards the end of the month, and we had over 100 families in the building. We provided rolls, cinnamon rolls for the parents, and we had books laid out all over the cafeteria tables, and they ate breakfast with their students, their kids, and read books. That was a really neat thing that we've done for the first time that I can remember. Mrs. Bradford had that idea. That was many of her ideas. They're a wonderful idea, and it was an overwhelming success, and we look forward to continue that in the future. And then on the right, that's preparations being made for Book Fair Bingo, which took place on a Thursday night and was a lot of fun for the families that attended that as well. And they were able to win a discount sponsored by Team. Our parent group sponsored the Book Fair bingo so that they could take that certificate to the book fair for a discount off of a book. I also wanted to recognize we had a very gracious sponsor. They'll go unnamed tonight, but they did donate $9 for every elementary student in the elementary school. So all of our students for that book fair had a minimum of $9 that they could spend on a book. So all of our students were able to buy books due to a donation. So this month of March, we've had 2 nights of conferences. I'm proud to announce that we had 90% total attendance. Many of our classrooms had 100%, and of course, we had to remake up one of the days because of a snowstorm on a Thursday night. So I think that we would have been even higher than 90% if we didn't have to reschedule that. But our teachers do a great job connecting with our families, and that 90% is a testament to that. I've talked a lot about I Love to Read, but I want to thank again the committee of our teachers, led by Mrs. Bradford in the library. It was a great month, a lot of reading. All of our grade levels reached their goals. So it was fun to see. The What's the Book Wednesday was kind of a competition we talked about last month that continued throughout the month, and they were searching for Flat Van Beek. Was a little picture of me around the elementary school, trying to bring a lot of fun. Kids are looking forward to those things. They were sad to see that those events were ending, but we're still doing a couple other fun things, including our golden microphone tomorrow morning. The book fair. It was one of the most successful book fairs that we had. We sold over $14,000 worth of books in the book fair. What that means is that we will get a portion of that money back that we can spend towards scholastic books or replenish books in the library and buy more stuff there. So great job, again, led by Tara Bradford. We had paras volunteering in the evening. We had some former teachers volunteering in the evening. I know one night in there was Mrs. Holtvick and Mrs. Spitzak, and I'm trying to get them back into more subbing, but at least they're taking baby steps of helping out. Actually, Mrs. Holtvick does a lot of subbing, so I don't want to breeze past that. A fun run. Team is also for our fundraising in elementary school. We're giving it a shot. Kickoff day was today. You may see some information on social media, on Facebook. There's a lot of push out there for some raising of money for the elementary school. One of the items that we're looking to do, put money towards is resurfacing the playground to make it more accessible for some of our special education students, individuals with various handicaps, and get to our playground equipment. And then also that would help pay for the end of the year field trip that we take to the Air and Sanity, along with sponsoring the different things that team does throughout the school year. Already, and the kickoff was today, we've raised over $3,000 in that fun run. That'll conclude next week on Friday, March 31st, and they'll do a run in our gymnasium, the Shuffle Lights, and they have a glow run, and they have some fun. Casson just did it last week. It was on KTTC. I saw it Friday night. I think Casson made about $35,000. Our goal is about $10,000. So I'll keep you updated on where we're at for our fun run. Next week's also a big week because not only are we kicking off the fundraiser, but we're going to do our roller skating. Again, team is donating money towards that. And we won't have to charge the students anything to have the roller skating experience. Hiring season has begun around Triton Public Schools. We'll have more information on that in our boards or our study session, but know that we're getting some great applicants. We're having some great interviews, and it's that time of year here at Triton. One other thing I wanted to point out, in the next DCI, we've begun doing a recognition of students of the week. Having our specialist teachers, our FIED, our art, our music, and our technology nominate a student K2 and a student 3-5. The picture will be in the newspaper with a little write-up, and just another way of recognizing students in our community. And with all that, are there any questions?
On the fun run, my daughter's already hit me up on that. Already sent me the link.
Yep. It's and it's not, there's some work on our teachers. They have to send out some emails, but it's copy and paste. The company that kind of runs it is trying to make it easy lifting. So it's not a bunch of work on Whitney, myself, or the teachers. They say they're saying we're going to surpass our goal, no problem. So we'll see how it goes. Are you gonna grade me up here? What's that? I'm unfamiliar with the dance.
Show us speak. You should ask your daughter. Thank you.
Pretty sure I've seen both of you.
Yeah. You do what?
Before I jump into middle school updates, I just want to say I had the pleasure of spending the night with about 75 fourth and fifth graders on Friday night. And I see Jude was there too. So my high school SAD chapter, Students Against Destructive Decisions, held our mock-in. And so it was a great night. Great, Jude. So it's the best part of that night for me is just watching the high schoolers interact with those younger students. So high schoolers arrived at 6:30 p.m. and we didn't leave till 6:30 a.m. So a lot of activities. It was super fun. For middle school, we finished up our conferences on Tuesday. So we had a lot of great opportunities there to connect with families. Our 8th graders got to have a meeting and meet Mr. Luderman and Ms. Reynolds to talk about their transition to high school. Our 6th grade got a sneak peek at Whitewater and what's to come with that. Lots of excitement from that too, as there should be. So we had a great night of conferences, or 2 nights. Book fair, we had our book fair going on as well. And because conferences had been rescheduled, we extended that book fair. So I don't have dollar amounts. I know Marisa was busy working on that today, coming up with those figures, but we too had a generous donation. And so that allowed our students to have a $10 voucher to the book fair. And then our team parent group, which I'll talk about too, also provided some vouchers. So our librarian, Mrs. Rosopoulos, said it was amazing to see students so excited to pick out a book. Especially the students that often don't visit the library to check out the books. They're super excited to purchase the book. So that was very cool to see. We had Semio, so Southeast Minnesota Youth Orchestra visited our school and gave a performance. And it was incredible. So it was just the string ensemble that was there. And our middle school went into the pack and got to hear 3 different songs performed by them. And what I found most amazing is there was one point when I stopped and just looked around the pack and I couldn't find a single middle schooler talking to their neighbor. They were just zoned in and very into that performance. So it was a great experience for them to have. And one of our middle schoolers is practicing and plans to audition in the spring to be a part of that group. So very inspiring for a lot of our students. The parent group, I mentioned that earlier, and I see Carrie is here. Just very pleased to have that a part of our middle school. And last time I was here, I advertised and talked about that dodgeball tournament they did. So we actually had that event. And I have just one picture there. You can see there was a few different teams in uniforms. So super fun event for everybody. Even the people in the stands got involved and got to throw balls. And yeah, it was a great time. And team very generously gave a $10 book fair voucher to every student that participated in the dodgeball event. So that was amazing of them to do. So we appreciate that. And then lastly, the academic triathlon that was mentioned once, but our middle school were champs. They took first place in their meet and they were so excited. Just smiles all around talking about it. And they were so sad that there weren't more meets. So unfortunately that season had ended for them. But they're looking forward to other opportunities, hopefully in the future. So that was a great experience for them to be involved in. And so thankful that Adam Anderson took that on and was a part of and brought that back to the middle school. So yeah, so lots of great stuff happening at the middle school. Any questions? All right.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Appreciate the time tonight. I know Mr. Van Beek, he showed a slide and mentioned my daughter was the gritty co-champion.
Grand champion.
Grand champion of the 5th grade. And I had to politely remind her she might be the 5th grade champion. But I am the champion.
Prove it.
I don't know if she agrees. I did make the mistake of talking to her about that in the cafeteria the other day amongst her friends, and they said, "Well, do it." So, I showed them a little bit, and unfortunately, I successfully embarrassed her. So I'll try and behave myself. And
That's
not
better
do
than
that
breaking a hip.
at meeting or at lunch anymore. You're right. It's better than that. As Ms. Johnson and Mr. Van Beek had discussed, we recently had conferences. At the high school, we do one night of conferences in the spring because contractually, the second night we do at boards at the end of May. So overall, I'd say positive feedback from staff, more so this spring than in the fall. I know I was tied up with a meeting with our 8th graders for a little bit, but attendance seemed to improve. And that's an ongoing discussion that we have as a staff. How can we maximize the impact with the time we have at conferences, and how is our time spent best? So felt good to know that it was a beneficial night for students, staff, and families last night. So we'll continue to have those discussions, and things may change a little bit in terms of conferences and structure, but excited that it was a good night. Go to the next one there, sir. So the good news, you'll see a lot of names up on that board there, and at the beginning of the meeting, I heard conversation of, I can't read that, can you? So I apologize, but Mr. Black and I were having a discussion today on, okay, we'd like to make sure and recognize our folks from, as you can see, the solo and ensemble competition or event on March the 13th. So I wanted to at least get as many names up there, and all the students that received an award, wanted to make sure and put those up there. So the first piece here as you can see, hopefully you can make out a few of the names, but, congratulations to our band and choir participants and our directors of those groups. So they did a fantastic job.
I'll put a copy of that in the update.
There's a couple more slides in here, Mr. Schlichting. So, as you can see, the first slide and a half is band, and then towards the bottom there, we transition to the groups that received awards for choir. So definitely, I know the students there in choir. We have, and band, we have some pictures too. One thing you'll note, they talked about some names in FFA, and the other events going on in BPA. Miss McMahon was up talking about that group as well. You'll see a lot of the same names, all right, folks? So a lot of our students are involved, not just in one thing or two things, but like Jude here, a lot of things all the time. So lots of good things going on here at Triton. So I believe I may have one more slide of names. The group there, you can see superior performance, and I definitely wanted to have a picture of them, superior performance and tied for best insight. Okay, so congratulations to Tavin, Phineas, Jude, and Liam for that accomplishment. And would you like to sing? I won't.
If I had the time, yeah.
Sure, we should have brought them, right?
Right.
All right, go ahead, Lloyd.
Excuse me, what's that horn you play?
So, I played trumpet, cornet, and flugelhorn. So, I played a piece on trumpet, jazz pieces, and then like the flugelhorn, it's like a bigger trumpet. It's got like a cleaner tone. If you could, it's, yeah, really weird to describe to somebody who's not very familiar with brass instruments. So, yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. Different flugelhorn, yeah.
Thanks.
All right, so congratulations to those folks. I'm trying to remember, all right, no more names, just photos of individuals. So wanted to make sure and include a few pics there of our band and choir. Unfortunately, I didn't want to make the presentation with more slides, so I took as many photos as I could and wanted to make sure and recognize our students for their accomplishments there. All right, I believe I'm ready for the next one. Things here continue to go well. This time of the year, it seems like there's a lot of acronyms and abbreviations for tests that we take. Obviously, we want to be as prepared as we possibly can for those tests. And provide our students the best opportunity we can by providing the most structure we can on those days. So lots of tests approaching. The first one being the ACT day. I refer to it as the ACT day. It's just one of the things that we do on that day. So basically each grade has a different experience. Our ninth graders go on some campus tours. Our sophomores take the pre-ACT. Our juniors then have the opportunity to take an ACT test or an ASVAB, their choice. And then our seniors, as part of senior sem, have a training piece there that's coordinated. I believe we've talked about this at previous times. We definitely want to make sure the public and board are informed because these experiences on this day on April 4th are the only thing going on for the students that attend school here. Okay, I know, I don't know how many of you have taken an ASVAB or an ACT. It's a stressful experience and our students have been preparing extremely hard. So obviously they have some time at the end of the test to go home for the remainder of that day. Students do have the option to stay as well regarding if they do not have transportation or they have missing assignment or late work, we offer students an opportunity to stay and finish some items off on that day as well. The MCAs, the 10th graders, they got us started. So we're up and going there, the systems, the computers, the programs, everything is working there. So excited to continue that process here in April and May. Profile of a graduate, the next one, just a note for you, is April the 14th. So we do those before school in the morning in the small cafeteria. So if you can join us for that, that would be great. And believe we have another session, Mr. Schlichting, with the board on April the 5th, so we can talk more about that program then. Make sure you have that information. Just a reminder, I know Ms. Swanson's here tonight, but True Team Track and Field, Ms. Swanson, can you remind me how many teams there?
17.
17, and on average, how many participants? And I'm putting you on the spot a little bit. How many participants per team?
50 and 100.
And so they all bring a bus or two and numerous parents, et cetera, and fans. It's a tremendous day and a tremendous opportunity to showcase our school facility. So excited to continue to host True Team. It's not easy, but school will be different. It'll be an online day for our students that day. So they'll receive assignments electronically and work on them that way. And then it's going to be our PLC professional sharing day. So the PLC objectives and goals our groups have been working on, we will have a professional sharing day that day. So excited about that. Date conflict. And I believe it's a conversation earlier. What day is boards? Because it's a conflict. There was another conflict with that this year. I'm glad we noticed it now, but want to continue to be as flexible as we can to provide our students as many opportunities we can and support them, especially at the end of a senior year, right? So there's a couple of things going on that day where our students are going to be competing in events, all right? So that day, the track meet probably starts in the early part of the afternoon. Is that fair, Ms. Swanson? So we have that going on and a baseball game as well. So we've met as a group, believe we have a plan to make that work. So with the folks that have a baseball game, that usually happens about 5:30 or so. Remember, we're out of school at 1, so our baseball group will get that done first on that day. And then the students that have to leave before that to prepare for the track and field meet, what we're going to do is run in abbreviated boards on Thursday after school. So those students, the seniors, they don't, because if you remember, the Wednesday is the last day of school for seniors, right? So the seniors that didn't complete their board, they don't have to come to school all day. They'll just have to be here at 3:15 to complete the board at that time. So believe we have a plan to navigate that. The next one is baccalaureate. Sorry, Mr. Schlichting. That traditionally has been on that Wednesday night as well, but I've heard from a number of individuals that, you know, my son or daughter, they have an extracurricular activity, and we'd like the opportunity to attend. So planning to get information out to seniors and parents within the next week or two. But the date we're looking at is Sunday, May the 21st. So in conversations with our ministerial group on that and trying to coordinate that to maximize participation in baccalaureate as well. All right, I received a text when the meeting started. If you could please remind the board and the folks at the meeting about the Texas Roadhouse fundraiser, I'd really appreciate it. And I couldn't remember if I had it in the presentation or not, but now I'm really glad I did. So the Texas Roadhouse fundraiser for the group there, March the 23rd. Believe that is tomorrow. So if you can make it, great. And I know Jude, he talked about the pancake breakfast already. So now we have a visual to go with the description. Any questions? Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Superintendent's report.
It didn't cut and paste.
Well,
It's all right. Just wanted to go over a couple things. One, I talked a little bit about the grant that I got to bring in a speaker. Miss Reynolds is working on another grant to bring in another speaker. And Mr. Black got a grant to bring in a speaker. And at the MASA conference last week, they talked about I had not heard the term before, but it's called sextortion. And it is kind of an alarming thing that's happening in the country with kids. And Dave talked to somebody at the BCA and they have a speaker as well. So what I was thinking of trying to do is coordinate all these different speakers that we can have and have like a series of 5 different speakers on different nights. But if you didn't know, Minnesota is actually in the top 5 in the nation, and that's not a good thing to be in the top 5 for with sextortion. And basically, the FBI agent came in to talk to superintendents because it is such an issue. But there's 2 different types of that are happening. One is these people, and the last one, they just arrested somebody that had over 1,000 user profiles on all of these different social media sites. But we feel that it's important that we continue to educate kids that make sure you know who you're letting into your friend group or your friending on these social media sites, because what happens is they find their way in, they talk them into getting a picture, and then they use that picture to get more pictures, and then they extort kids to continue to get those pictures, or they extort them for money. And what's sad is a lot of these kids end up in this situation and they don't know what to do. So suicide becomes an option for some of these kids because they don't see a way out. And we just feel that that would be an important thing to bring in a speaker to educate kids on that as well. Mainly middle school kids are the kids that it's impacting. So that was one thing. We talked MCA testing starting, so we're kind of in that season. The doors, we've been having some issues with doors, so working with Custom Alarm to try and get that figured out. It sounds like we may have too many doors on a singular power supply, so trying to separate those to fix that. We talked a little bit about the bus. Yeah, I think that was pretty much all the things I had on my report. If not, I'll put it in my Monday update. Any questions?
So it's the 5th, right? That's more having the next day.
Yeah, the study session, the 5th worked for everybody. That would be good. It kind of puts us right between the 2 meetings, and I did send out, the agenda on that. I know there's a lot of things to cover, but I think it would be good to go through a lot of those on a study session where we can talk through them. Okay. Questions?
Any other? Oh, we have the Expo Center.
Yeah, that was one of the other things. Yeah, the expo is coming up Saturday. Thanks, Lloyd. So just a reminder that will be going on here on Saturday, and that's a pretty big event for us as a district as well. So always an exciting thing.
It starts at 9 or 8.
Well, if any of you can be there, I've talked to Shane and Tricia. They're going to be able to help out a little bit. With all my family stuff going on, I don't know how much I'll be able to be there. I want to be there the whole time, but I know that right now that's unrealistic to say. Just say that. So, yeah. Questions? All right.
Any other? Anybody else? Motion to adjourn?
So second.
Any questions? No. Rebecca,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Dwayne,
Yes.
Dale.
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
And yes, myself. Thank you. I guess. Hey, Brian.